J. Cole is calling for peace and everybody's mad. Only 2 days after dissing Kendrick Lamar on 7 Minute Drill, J. Cole has come out publicly to apologize to Kendrick Lamar, and it seems as though everybody is confused by the whole ordeal. And unlike most things hip-hop, it's not only people on Twitter, rappers, media outlets, and everybody in between. And you know, it's fairly rare for hip-hop to unite in beef, but all the way from Cole fans to Kendrick fans, the apology has not been particularly well received. And well, it was to be expected. But to truly recap this whole sequence of events and why people are so mad, let's take a step back and actually analyze what happened. A couple of weeks ago, in the anticipation and build-up for the fall-off, J. Cole began a series of blogs called My Delete Later. Inside of those blogs were some of the best bars J. Cole has ever written, and people were hyped for what the fall-off could offer. However, in between then and now, the culture shifted. Though the release of Future and Metro Boomin didn't seem like that big of a deal from an outsider's point of view, once We Don't Trust You released and that 7th track on the project started playing, people realized that this was a big deal, or at least a bigger deal than initially expected, because what happened on this track went beyond the career of Metro Boomin and Future. It actually involved the mythical Big 3, and it seemed like they were finally gonna come to blows. Maybe not in a free-for-all type of war, but at least in a battle against Kendrick Lamar, who famously said,
"Motherfuck the Big 3, nigga, it's just Big Me, nigga, bum."
Which isn't that crazy of a bar, but definitely got people talking, especially when he went on to double down and diss both Drake and J. Cole.
For all your dogs getting buried, that's a K with all these nines, he gon' see Pet Cemetery, nigga, bum.
Though the Drake diss was more straightforward, the Cole diss was a little bit layered, let's say.
If he walk around with that stick, it ain't Andre 3K.
If you walk around with that stick, it ain't Andre 3K. Doesn't necessarily seem like a diss towards Cole on the surface, but once you start analyzing it, you really understand that it's definitely a shot. On the song Stick, alongside JID and Check West, J. Cole says that he has a stick with him.
It's got a stick that I take with me.
Basically what Kendrick is saying is, if you walk around with the stick, it don't really mean nothing because your stick ain't a real stick, it's like a flute. But also in a rap sense, your stick don't mean nothing because you're not on the level of Andre 3000. And honestly, for me, that's a cold bar and one of my favorite of the year so far. But all in all, it's really just a jab. Something to get the beef in the pot stirring, but not something that's like Tupac hit 'em up level. In a vacuum, it's really unimportant, but the reason why people hyped it up to be what it is now is because for the longest time, the Big 3 was the biggest thing about hip-hop. The debates of Kendrick Lamar, J. Cole, and Drake were the talk of the hip-hop world for so long. And for whatever reason, after like 2013, it seemed like these rappers didn't intertwine in any way. In terms of disses, the best you would get is a subliminal here and there from Kendrick to Drake and Drake to Kendrick, but you never really get that real beef. On top of that, they really wouldn't work together for most of their careers. After like 2013, Drake, J. Cole, and Kendrick all went their separate ways, which is part of what made first-person shooters such a big deal. It was part of the Big 3 finally clicking up, and the same applies for Kendrick. That's why people were excited. However, in a post like that verse, most people thought that Cole and Drake wouldn't respond, which made it even crazier when 2 weeks after Kendrick released that verse, J. Cole released a whole mixtape. Now clearly most of this mixtape was done before the diss and it was meant to hype up the fall off, but most people were excited for whatever the response was, because how can you not respond? Though it was the last track on the mixtape, that's exactly what 7 Minute Drill did.
How ironic, so I got it, now he wants something with me.
Now I've gone back and forth on whether I think this is an adequate response or not, but after I got cooked by Cole fans for saying he dropped the ball, I gotta admit, I was probably wrong. Again, is the track spiteful? Not exactly. Is it complex or super lyrical spiritual? Not that either, but it also doesn't need to be. Like all in all, you don't want to waste your best bars on what is essentially a warning shot. So you know what? I get it. I was wrong. But it is still pretty divisive amongst hip-hop fans. Like I've seen people say that it's not aggressive enough, that the beat selection was not the best. While at the same time, I've seen people say that he bodied Kendrick and that he sunned them. But all in all, this was great for hip-hop. Competition was back. This is the type of debating that makes hip-hop great. It's like the people that debate whether Ether or Takeover was the better track. And as a hip-hop fan, even if I was on the wrong side of history, I enjoyed the conversation. But if there was one person that hated everything going on, it was apparently none other than Jermaine Cole. Now me personally, I didn't think anything hip-hop related would happen tonight. I was about to watch a movie and then I saw that J. Cole had apologized. For whatever reason, J. Cole hopped on stage and he said that this didn't really feel like him. It apparently wasn't even something that he wanted to do, going as far as to say that he's been having trouble sleeping for the past 2 nights and that essentially the only reason why he dissed Kendrick was because of peer pressure.
But at the end of the day, when I listen to it and when it comes out and I see the talk, that shit don't sit right with my spirit. That shit make me feel, that shit disrupts my fucking peace.
And you really know it's bad when fucking J. Cole fans are calling this their 9/11. And I mean, essentially calling Kendrick Lamar the GOAT while apologizing to him for dissing him on a song that really wasn't a diss is kind of crazy. And I fully understand the people that are mad because after years of no beef, no competition in hip-hop, it finally seemed like we were getting it, and now we're not even getting that anymore. And I think that's the main reason why people are mad at Jermaine Cole, because this thing barely started. We're still in the warning shot stage of it all. Like, I don't know, it would be different if personal shots got thrown out, but as far as shots go, the most personal thing J. Cole said was that Kendrick Lamar was fake humble and that To Pimp a Butterfly puts people to sleep. Again, not really the type of disses that would make somebody think like, yo, I can't sleep because why the hell did I do that? And it just kind of throws off this whole thing because like, what are we even debating anymore? Why are we putting J. Cole in this big 3 pedestal if it seems like at every chance he doesn't want to be in that pedestal? Furthermore, Kendrick Lamar didn't even respond. It seems like an apology is a bit premature at the very least. On top of that, for the last like 4 years, J. Cole has been talking crazy in his rap songs about how he's the best of the big 3. Not only the best of the big 3, but the best rapper out right now. So it's a bit confusing to see him essentially backpedal away from hip-hop beef. But here's the thing though, I think in a way, he's right. Now, like all of you out there, I'm also perplexed by what happened. It's kind of like when Kendrick said that when Kanye got back with Drake, he was slightly confused. That's how I feel right now. But I also feel weird in condemning J. Cole for saying what every rapper says post beef. Like, I know they haven't really had a great war between the two, but I am also in a way kind of mad at J. Cole just as a fan because this really makes him look bad. Like, I don't know, I think in my opinion, a lot of people were willing to defend J. Cole and say that his diss was top line. Whereas of right now, all of those people that defended Cole, even though I wasn't one of them, feel stupid. You know it's bad when Mark from RDC, who is the embodiment of a J. Cole fan, is out here tweeting about how disappointed he is. At the same time, I feel like we're too heated on J. Cole right now. Like, not too much, man. But at the same time, I also kind of just feel like this is something that isn't going to matter in a few weeks. Like, I don't know, I feel like you guys will get over it, surely. But I will say, it will be harder to argue that J. Cole is anything other than 3 going forward. At least in terms of the big 3. I said this a few videos ago and I really meant it when I said that if Cole isn't careful, he'll end up with a permanent bronze, and it really feels like that's what hip hop is looking like right now. But me personally, I still believe in Cole, and I definitely still think that the fall off is going to be a classic, but maybe I'm wrong. With that being said, shout out to Drake because now he's going to have to run them ones with Kendrick Lamar. So good luck, dog. Also, shout out to WWE because WrestleMania was fire. With that being said, though, shout out to Jay Dilla, shout out to God, shout out to me, and shout out to y'all. And yeah.